Hey guys, welcome to the Kickstart Challenge. Come on guys, let's change that state and get ready. Are you ready? Okay, here we go guys. So today is Sunday, but if you're watching the replay, it may be a different day. So the next 8 days are going to be connected, and I'm going to be teaching an acronym. And each day is going to be a different topic for 8 days. So the acronym is, sorry it's backward, I haven't mastered the camera yet. The acronym is New Start, okay? So New Start, and each day stands for a different health and wellness topic. So New Start is a health and wellness program based out of California at Weimar Institute. And so I'm just going to be teaching this acronym. So each day is a different day. Today is the first one, nutrition, okay? So today is the first one, nutrition. So Hippocrates was a Greek physician back in 460 BC, and he said, "Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food." Right? Like, what? He said that over 1,000 years ago, you know? And we're all on we're all on a different path in what we eat. You know, we all eat different on here. You know, many of you know I'm a vegetarian. But I think we all can agree, I think most all of us can agree that we probably need to be eating more vegetables in our diet, right? We probably need to be eating that garden food, you know, those whole fruits. Okay, so I'm not here to point fingers and say, oh, you're wrong and all this stuff. You know, I'm here to lay a foundation of giving you the knowledge, simply reminding you of what you already know, right? So, some of you guys know I've been vegetarian for 18 years, since I was 15. I've been vegan / dairy free for about 9 years. And the past 5 years, I have been concentrating on whole food plant-based. So kind of getting away from even the processed foods, even the processed veggie foods, you know, and sticking to the garden food, right? So I know what I'm talking about, right? And some of you guys have seen my stories where I post all these interesting meals and things that I cook. So I'm letting you know that I know what I'm talking about, okay? So day 13, nutrition, okay? Let's see here, what was this? Okay, so Jim Rohn taught Tony Robbins, and Tony Robbins just sat at the feet and learned from Jim Rohn. So a lot of the stuff that Tony knows, he learned from Jim. And a quote that Jim says, excuse me, he says, "Take care of your body, for it is the only place you have to live," right? So our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit, right? God dwells in us, in our minds. If we eat junk, our minds aren't going to be clear, okay? I'm speaking to myself as well, because you can be a vegetarian and eat a lot of sugar, right? So when we eat a lot of high cholesterol diet, high fat, high sodium, high sugar, our minds are going to be foggy, cloudy. We're not going to be able to think clearly, okay? So I think of Daniel in the Bible. In Daniel chapter 1, you know, King Nebuchadnezzar, he was a king of Babylon, and he sieged Jerusalem, and he captured all the young teenagers, all the young strapping young men that were, you know, young boys, teenagers that didn't have any blemish, you know, that didn't have any disabilities or anything, these strong young men. And he took them into the king of Babylon, into Babylon, and he wanted all of his wise men and magicians and all of his officials to train these young men for 3 years so that they could be his new wise men and to serve under him, right? Well, King Nebuchadnezzar took them, and the officials were training these young men. So this is in the Bible, in the book of Daniel. Many of you guys know this story. So the officials were training these young men, and they gave them meat, a whole, you know, smorgasbord, a whole table of meat and wine. Daniel and his 3 friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, they came to the table and they were like, "What? We can't eat this meat. We can't drink this wine," because it was against their health principles. This is what? Way back in 600 BC, you know, a long time ago. And Daniel was like, "We can't eat this. Sorry," you know, very respectably. And the officials were like, "This is what the king gave for you to eat. You've got to eat it. What are we going to do?" Daniel was like, "Here you go. Let me give you something here. For 10 days, just for 10 days, give us vegetables to eat and give us water to drink. Just 10 days. and just see at the end of these 10 days, if our countenance is not stronger and more fair, then we'll eat your, meat and drink your wine. But he said, test it for 10 days. He said, please, he pleaded with him, just give me 10 days. And all the officials that were training these young men, they were like, okay, we'll do it for 10 days, And so guess what? After the 10 days, they came, and their countenance, just the way their body looked, they were 10 times stronger, guys, right? For 10 days, they were 10 times stronger. And so they were like, wow, this is crazy. They didn't know many people that were on that plant-based diet. So Daniel tried that plant-based diet for 10 days. Can you try it for a 1 day, right? This is not to be like, hey, you need to be a vegetarian. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, hey, I'm just here to present the nutrition. So anyway, so there's a quote that I like. It says, eat breakfast like a king, lunch like a queen, and dinner like a pauper, right? So our most important meal of the day is breakfast. Many of us stay up late and eat a high meat, fats, sodium, cholesterol diet. That's the standard American diet. Let's be honest. The standard American diet is a high fat diet. And many of us go out to eat late at night, 6, 7, 8 at night, and we eat all this food, and it's sitting on our stomachs when we go to bed. When we wake up, we're not hungry. We don't want to eat breakfast. Many of us rush off to work with a coffee, and so we're not hungry in the morning because when we're sleeping, that food is still trying to digest, and plus it actually affects our quality of sleep as well. Okay, so I think we all can agree that we do need to eat more vegetables. We do need to eat those more whole plant-based choices. So I'm not telling you that you need to be a vegetarian and all this stuff. I'm simply reminding you that we probably need to be adding those salads to our day, making a fruit smoothie, right? So just those simple daily lifestyle habits. Nutrition is a lifestyle, and you guys can look. You can look in your family lineage. What were you raised on? What were you raised on? I'm so thankful that I was raised on a farm, and we ate the vegetables out of the garden. We planted the corn, the squash, the zucchini, the tomatoes, the cucumbers, the asparagus. We had all of that growing up, and I'm so thankful that I grew up that way. Yes, we did have the slab of pork chop and the burgers and the sausage gravy and all that. So I ate good, right? But a bulk of it was fresh vegetables from the garden. So many of you have gardens in your home. Awesome job. Way to go. Many of you don't. I don't, because I'm living in town right now in an apartment. But anyway, nutrition. Eat more vegetables. Eat that whole fruit. Be conscious of the choices you're making for your health, right? I want to share with you some books. This is an amazing book. I've done a lot of research. I've read a lot of books on health and nutrition. And this is an amazing book. It's called Counsels on Diet and Foods. And it's by Ellen White. This book was written in 1938. Was it 38? 1938. Before the whole veganism and vegetarianism got popular here over the last, 10 years? All this gluten-free stuff. And it's like, what? Funny story, my mom, she went gluten-free it was about 4 years ago or so. And she was like, Amy, you need to go gluten-free. And I'm like, you're crazy. Like, that's just the gummy part of the bread. Like, that's not bad. What are you talking about? I'm like, ugh, just another fad, And I didn't listen to her for over a year or so. But I finally just made those lifestyle habits in my life. And just not eating the gluten, that gummy part of the bread, the gluten in the bread, it made my stomach flatter. I was bloated. I never knew that maybe I was allergic or had a gluten intolerance. But when I eat a piece of bread, my stomach gets so bloated. I don't know if any of you guys can relate. Actually, this past 2 months, I've brought bread back into my diet, and I got so bloated, and I'm like, this is crazy. I put on like 4 pounds just by eating bread. And I'm like, this is crazy, what? And so I cut out the bread again, and my stomach went flat. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy just how much just how much a simple nutrition change. So play around with your diet, see what works for you. This is an amazing book. It's a workbook, Health Power. It's health by choice, not by chance. So guys, we want to make the decisions. We want to make the choice to take our health back. We don't want to leave it to chance. We don't want to leave it to convenience when we're driving, to work and we're late, or we're coming home from that ball game of our kids, or running to an appointment, or just so tired that we don't want to cook for ourselves that we run to the fast food. We don't want to leave it by chance. We want to take our lives into our hands by choice. We want to have a healthy mind, body, and soul. And guys, the free thing that I'm going to send out is the brochure. And it talks about the New Start, okay? It talks about these the acronym, these 8 healthy lifestyle changes that we can make in our life. And so this brochure, I'm going to send it out if you want it. Some of you guys have already sent me your mailing address. So if you want this, I'm going to send it to you. There's also a magazine that goes into more in depth, and it's called Radiant Living. And each of these topics, like nutrition, it has a whole page or two, and it explains it more in detail. So if you want the free magazine as well, make sure you send me your mailing address and I can send that out. I'm going to send that literature out this week. So send that to me. And then in this book actually is a page on nutrition. And it says, there's a Bible verse, first Genesis 1:29, it says, "Then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit and seed in it." So, God designed our bodies. He designed our bodies. He knows what's most healthy for us. So remember that, guys. So your action steps, okay? We're very ready for action step? It's simple, guys. You know it. Add a salad to your diet. Add a salad to your day. Eat that healthy salad. Fill it with a rainbow of good veggies. Make a fruit smoothie, Fruit smoothie, add that whole fruit, add those whole colorful vegetables to your diet, and let me know in the comments if you did it today. Remember, these are daily lifestyle habits. It's not something we're just doing for today, right? We want to learn it, and guys, this will be difficult for some of us, right? But it's the daily habits that we're going to adopt over the course of just the rest of our lives, if you will. If you're on board, if you want to take your health, your nutrition back in control and stop letting the media, those commercials, all the food commercials and the fast food, just turn it off, So take your health back into your hands and focus on your nutrition today.